To go. Hi, my name's Pristine, and this is the Living Water Conversation. And I want to welcome you to our first podcast. And I want to welcome you, Jillian Blount. She is the owner of Wild Free Kids here in Wasilla. And I'll tell you a little bit. I don't know Jillian not all that well, but I was at we were both at a networking meeting for women business owners, and she got up and talked about her business. And I went, I need to talk to her. I need to meet her because it works really well with Living Water Family Home. We have a family home, but we also do respite services and agency services in the community with children and adults. So when I heard her, I was like, oh, we're going to talk. So I invited her to come and discuss with us her business and what she does here in the Valley. So welcome, Jillian. I'm so glad to have you. And I just want to know, give us a little bit of information about you and your services, how you got started, that sort of thing.
Yeah, hi, thanks for having me. Yeah, so I am Jillian Blount. I am an occupational therapist. I was a special education teacher for a decade before making the switch to OT. And it really taught me in special ed, there's a team and you have to work with the parents and caregivers and the child and all these other people. And so I really liked all that collaboration. And working with OT, PT, speech, assistive technology, DAPE, all of that within like building programs. I really loved building those programs for the individual needs of those children. And like OT was always in the back of my mind because when I was student teaching, I was tasked with kind of taking on the role of some older girls with autism in this school and just kind of we developed programs for these girls, and it was like
Mhm.
really great to collaborate and work with them and figure these things out and help them build skills, but also collaborate these with these girls at the time. Because how can we put a program together that encompasses so many different things? And so
Mhm.
from then on, I was hooked, and that was 2007 when I student taught. And I was just like,
Awesome.
ooh, that's what I want to do. And so it took a while. Um, but yeah, OT, just because we get to be really holistic and look at all these different roles and contexts and factors and everything. And once you get like those OT glasses on, they never go away. If anybody's ever heard that phrase before, you look at people differently and how they move and all of that. So,
Awesome.
yeah. And I think because I was a special ed teacher working with teams so much and closely with parents, that has been one of the biggest factors of this. And I know we'll get to that later, but just working with families and caregivers, because if I see a child, only an hour a week, I can't, I can do magic, but I can't do the magic that happens when like parents take those skills and do them in home and practice what they've learned and put those in place with their kids. So it's really important that we do that. And so that's like been my number one like facet model, is making sure we involve caregivers as much as possible for that reason. So we have that generalization and carryover because that's what
Awesome.
we're there
That's
for.
great.
Yeah.
So, for those who might be watching that are not familiar with the term OT, can you explain exactly what that is?
Yeah. So occupational therapy is we help people do the things they want to do. That's like a really over broad example. We can help people in hospitals after surgeries, right? Like, how are you going to move about your environment and get yourself
Hmm.
dressed and showered and bathed and toileting and self care and feeding, energy conservation. We can help people after a stroke. How
Awesome.
do we relearn those things? We can help in schools, like how are children accessing their general education environment, fine motor skills, which could include handwriting and buttons and fasteners and self cares, and just emotional regulation. I mean, honestly, like
Hmm.
OT can be everywhere and anywhere. It really can. Yeah.
Awesome. So it sounds like OT, it spans from birth all the way probably till senior citizen age.
Oh my gosh.
But
Yep.
your focus is basically on children, or do you work with children and adults?
Yeah, mainly children. If we're a good fit for people, want to help people for a good fit. Um, but yeah, we're mainly like
Okay.
maybe 1 to adult. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So when I first met you, you kind of gave me a little bit of rundown of you're located in Wasilla and you have a vast amount of property. So tell
Hmm.
me a little bit about how that got started and what that just give us a little visual what that looks like. And then maybe some we'll be able to share later on your website so people can go and check it out. But
Yeah.
I want to know a little bit about your program in what happens on a day basis at your program.
Yes. So when I thought back to wanting to kind of do my own thing, and I've always been outside, and as a kid, I grew up outside, right? And then coming
Hmm.
to Alaska, I kind of had this idea that like all these kids did all these things outside, and that was something that I had to change in my own thinking because it's not always the case. And so then, how would I
Yeah.
help kids get outside more, even if it just meant stepping outside the clinic walls?
Hmm.
And that just the research from nature. I mean, the Japanese, have done forest bathing for how long? And so just being outside in nature, there's so many theories and ideologies. Sorry, my cord is silly.
There's
Yeah,
always something going on, right?
always something. So there's so many different ideologies and theories, and like attention restoration theory, for example, is this theory that being outside in nature, outdoors, immersing yourself re-establishes your attention, right? Restores your attention. And so just being outside for kids, away from screens, away from distractions, away from, the structured, like I love games, right? But like here's
Hmm.
when we package things and hand it, that creativity kind of waxes away. And
Okay.
there's all these things. Yeah. So when I thought about it, I thought I'm going to get kids out as much as possible, and we're going to build our executive functioning skills outside because in
Nice.
nature, we just use it as another avenue. It, yeah.
Cool. Now, are you a year-round program? You do outside skills in the winter too, in the middle of December?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And that's what's really interesting about us is we want to be out there like rain or shine, sleet, snow. I mean, there is a time when it's too cold. There is a time when it's dysregulating.
Uh-huh.
There are moments where I've been out there and I'm like, oh, this is cold, rainy, windy. The rain's going horizontal, and I'm like, oh. But like all of us have our own needs, right? And so we can
Uh-huh.
adjust. We can go to the library instead, or meet, at a different location, or go to a restaurant or wherever. So we can be creative because our facility, we don't have a building at this point. It's 100% outside.
Okay. Oh,
And
awesome.
so
Okay.
so we do have to keep an eye on the weather. We do have to keep an eye on making sure, but then also we have to be prepared, right? We have to be ready and have all those things for that.
Hmm.
Like we have to know, like, hey, waterproof boots and layers and snacks if you need them, and all
Hmm.
those things. And
Okay.
everybody's been, yeah, pretty welcome to it. It's been pretty great.
That's awesome. And you
Mhm.
had a large lot, is from what I remember in our first conversation. So you don't have a building on the property. It's basically they just are hiking through nature in Alaska, it sounds like. And
Mhm.
that's
Yeah,
awesome. That's super
yeah,
awesome. Sounds like I don't know that there's anything else other than if I take my kids for a hike or something. But
yeah.
it's
There's
inspiring.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's 100 acres, and that's like unheard of in Wasilla to find that much
Yeah.
acreage. That is, and it's private too, and it's also conservation land. So that's the big piece of
Awesome.
it is we're not gonna. It's not just a trail or borough or public property or a park that people are just gonna be there. So that's what makes it really awesome and like safe and secure, because we want to protect the safety of our kids that we work with.
Hmm.
And so that's what makes it really great is it's private conservation. There's no buildings. It's wild. It's exactly what I wanted. It's perfect.
Okay. So So you're talking about healing and growth in nature. So give us maybe a little bit of an example of a child that you've been providing services for in the past, and the change that nature gives them, versus being in an office type situation.
Yeah, it allows us to, we have to make a decision what we're going to do a little bit, because what we bring in with us, we have to bring everything in because we don't have a building and a facility. We have to take all the stuff that we want in with us. And honestly, I used to start with like so much stuff when I first started this because I thought I had to have like every situation covered and every possibility and have, solutions for everything and just pull out what we had. And the part of it is, it's okay for us to struggle when we're out there and go, hey, like, what else can we do? Because,
Yeah.
oh, this
Hmm.
this activity was actually not as fun as we thought it would be. And so there was a time when, I know, like, it happens, right? Or you think, oh, this is going to take us 20 minutes, this is awesome, and it takes you 5, and the kid's like, all right, cool, I'm done, and you're like, oh, you did great, cool. What else should we do? And like, being child led, that's another big piece, is we're strength based, we're child led. And
Okay.
so if the child says, hey, I want to play checkers outside, cool, that's awesome, let's go play checkers. And then we also have other stuff too, but we have, one example is, we were out with some kiddos, and they're Alaska kiddos, they grew up here and they had never seen the wood frogs. They had never seen those tiny little wood frogs. um, and we actually spent some time, a good chunk of time, looking for the wood frogs, looking for
Dang
signs of
it! I
other
lost
animals
her.
like tracks and, um, what have you. And then looking at mushrooms and talking about, different fungus and plants. And we found frogs because it's really wet at our property. And just that in itself, all we had was my little guides. That's all we had to identify mushrooms and animal droppings and tracks. And it was like the best. It was so great because it proved to these kids that we didn't need all the stuff, right? I could say it, but until we did it, they had to feel it and experience, like, hey, Miss Jillian just has her like mushroom guide and animal tracks guide. That's all we have, and that's all we needed. And it was a really fun time. Did I lose you? I kept talking. Yeah, it's just me. I don't know when it stopped, but it's like 12:43 at this point on the recording.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We lost you. I don't know if it was
I lost
me.
you. I don't know.
Um,
It kept going, and then I was like, "Wait, where'd she go?" And I was still talking.
I think this program is so robust that my Mac is like, okay, you're killing me here. So we'll just start back over. We'll kind of,
Yeah,
let's see. I'll re-answer that question. We still are recording, it looks like. Okay.
yeah.
So,
I kept talking, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, "Oh, you're gone."
no worries. So
You
my
were frozen,
question,
so I just, yeah.
yeah, my question was, giving an example of how you've seen the improvement with kids being out in the field if you had, in nature, with their OT. So just give us a quick
Yeah.
example, or, the benefit of that you've seen in real time.
Yes. So I usually have everything I need in my vehicle, right? And I might open the back and say, hey, I have an idea for today, but what do you see that's interest to you? We always have hammocks with us. I always
Cool.
bring little games or like waterproof cards. Usually we can be really good about like thinking on the fly. That's kind of a really great aspect of PEDS OTs. We can really think of amazing things just on the go. And so kids might pick stuff, or they're like, hey, I actually just want to build a fort today and I have real
Cool.
tools, because getting out there with real hammers and real saws and real loppers, is a blast. And
Oh
so
yeah.
one day we were talking about frogs, and these Alaska kids had not seen the little tiny wood frogs that we have, right? We have one type.
Uh-huh.
And we had stopped, and at one point in time, that's all we did. It was like, do you guys want to actually find these frogs? Should we just stop what we're doing and look for them? And that's what we did. And it was like an
Cool.
hour of looking for frogs, and the awareness, we had to bring our awareness and like walk, slow and careful so we didn't step on them. We had
Uh-huh.
to get on the ground and crawl and like look, and oh, there's movement. What happened? So there's so many pieces and parts just to being able to do that. And it was like I had to almost show myself and these kids like, hey, we actually can do this without needing so much stuff. And so
Yeah,
that really taught me to like, I don't need all this stuff. I don't have to plan for every possible incident. Just get out there and have fun. And
that's
yeah, and
awesome.
being strength, yeah, and like being strength based in childhood, that's where that comes from. Is you guys want to
Mhm.
look for frogs? Let's do it. Let's look for frogs.
Yeah, I think it's great
Hmm.
because, in my personal opinion, a lot of kids have lost the love of nature and hiking and walking and building
Hmm.
a fort and, looking for tadpoles in a stream and that sort of thing to tablets and
Hmm.
communicating with other people through texting. So it is really great that
Yeah.
that's being implemented, and I'm really glad that it's here in the valley. Had never heard of you
Yeah.
before, so I'm really super excited to see you grow
Thanks.
and
Yeah,
see where that
thanks.
goes. So now, trauma informed care. You talk about trauma
Yes.
informed care, and how does that work with OT?
Yes. So OT and trauma informed care work really well together because OT, we have to find that just right challenge to help somebody learn and grow their skills. And trauma informed care is almost the same way. We have to look at the person's background, their needs, and we don't have to know everything about them, but we have to understand, for example, like their fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response. If
Hmm.
somebody is a fawner, for example, and they just go do whatever, I don't care what we do, that's fine, and they just go along with it, and we were trying to push them with that just right challenge, but they're a fawner or a freezer, we're kind of fighting against
Hmm.
allowing them and listening to them. And so we have to understand like where they're coming from and collaborate with them and allow that autonomy and that collaboration and understanding their trauma, and how even our tone of voice, our language, our body signals, we have to be aware of the environment. There's all kinds of pieces. I have some people where they want me to, when I'm talking to them, they're just trained so much that we have to look at each other, right, and make that eye contact.
Yeah.
And when I'm looking around, I will tell people, like I just did this yesterday. I had to say, hey, I know it looks like I'm not listening to you, because sometimes listening is I'm looking at you and I'm quiet. But when I'm
Hmm.
looking over here, it's because if I hear something, I need to make sure it's not a moose.
Oh
If I'm looking
yeah.
over there, I just have to make sure that it's not a trespasser. And so
Yeah.
letting them know, right? Like letting people know what I'm doing and being really transparent and really clear about that and modeling that for them is part of that trauma informed care, but also OT, right?
So
They just
awesome.
go so hand in hand. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm so excited to see how this leads into adulthood, because children with trauma that don't get the resources that they need carry that trauma through their life into their, as young adults, as adults in their families or in their marriages and relationships and work. And it can be so destructive. So it's super, super exciting to see somebody that's working with, both facets. So what would you say to parents who feel like they're failing? I personally have been in situations where, like, I just don't know what else to do. I've done everything and I'm exhausted and I need help. So what do you say to those families that are in that situation?
Yeah, I too have been there. Um, and I think that helps knowing that I've been there. And I usually tell parents like, hey, there's no shame, there's no guilt, there's no blame on any end. I want to know about the nitty gritty, low key things you have to do to keep a lid on, the things you're embarrassed to share with people because they're
Hmm.
going to judge you, the things that you do in your house that you wouldn't imagine having to do like in the grocery store, right? Like my
Hmm.
son, for example, bananas. If my son saw a banana and we were trying to leave to go do something, I would just we I'd be like, okay, cool, have a banana because you want a banana. I'm just gonna go grab extra clothes for you because I know what this is gonna look like, and we gotta go. Instead of fighting with him, we
Uh-huh.
just were like, cool, grab a banana, and I'm gonna go grab your extra clothes and make sure we have wipes.
Hmm.
Like sometimes it takes an extra minute to get out of the house, right? And sometimes that reminding parents like, hey, you're not giving in to your child when they say, hey, I
Hmm.
actually want a banana, I'm hungry. You're showing them that their needs are important, that their
Hmm.
advocating is important. But also if you say, hey, can we eat it when we get there, and collaboratively
Hmm.
problem solve with your
Yeah.
child, that's those skills too. But I know in survival mode it's not always easy and it's not always possible to
Yeah.
pull, and like we could do all the metaphors, right? The pour from these cups and spoons and all those things. But yeah, that
Hmm.
capacity when we're feel like we're failing and when we feel like there's nothing else and we've done everything. Um,
Hmm.
there are other things, and they happen, and nobody's failing, and people are doing the best they can for their children. They really are,
Yeah. It's super awesome to
because
hear
no
you
one
say
else
that
can.
because,
Yeah,
like it's hard. It can be very hard.
it's so hard. I know my own parents talked about how they don't have memories of us being children. I'm the oldest of three, and they don't always. My dad's like, I have like blank spaces because we were so in survival and we were trying to do our best and breaking cycles. And he's like, I literally, there's holes that I don't remember. And he's like, I feel like I missed out on your childhoods, like me and my
Hmm.
siblings because of that. But that's also like totally normal. We all talk about it too, right? Like I know I have that
Hmm.
where I'm like,
Yeah.
my kids will ask me something. I'm like, I don't remember. I was sleep deprived,
Yeah.
all these things. And like, and we know, and I know there's guilt, even from like me, like I know I have guilt and shame from, like thinking I needed to breastfeed longer than I could, or all these other things, right? And like
Hmm.
my kids are teenagers, my own children are teenagers, and I think about it and I'm like, why am I holding on to that? And it's people tell us, you know and social media is so prevalent now that they tell us we have to be like perfect and all these things, and that's garbage, right?
It's
Like
so hard.
I it's so, yes, and like I want to I don't care if your life is messy, right? Like that's what we're there for. I don't care if I walk in your house, you're like, oh, the dog's like, we're here to help you, and how are we helping you? And that's why we do this, is to teach the caregivers and the parents too, like there's no shame or guilt, there's none of that, there's no judgment, we get it
Hmm.
100%. How
Well,
can we
that's so
help you?
awesome.
And it's not about changing people. Yeah,
Hmm.
there's no changing people. It's what skills can we build, what can we help, what problems can we help you solve with your child,
Hmm.
what strengths can we build? Yeah, it's about all of that. It's a lot.
Well, it's amazing. I mean, I'm sure we could
Thanks.
spend hours talking about your skill set and what you have to offer, but it's super exciting. I'm super excited to be able to work with you in the near future because
Thanks. Yeah.
my agency is working with children and adults, even though you gear towards children more than adults with intellectual delays and with disabilities and helping them have life skills, basically OT. So
Hmm.
I'm super excited to see
Yeah.
if we can collaborate with you, with our clients and see some growth and just see what kids can do, how much
Oh,
they'll love being outside. And I'm super excited
yes.
about that. So if anybody's interested in catching, working with you, how do they contact you? What's your info? How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, the best way is to probably check out our website. It's wildfreekidsot.com. And there's ways to contact us there. There's our
Okay.
phone number on there and our website or our email. And we have a contact form that goes right to our EMR.
Okay.
There's lots of ways. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Email, call us. Yeah.
Okay. And do you take private insurance, Medicaid? How did that work?
Yes, we do take private insurance like Aetna and Blue Cross Blue Shield, TRICARE, TriWest, it's called now, I
Okay.
think, and
Yeah.
Medicaid, Tefra, Denali, Kid Care. Yep.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So if there's families out there that are in that situation, is it Does a family member have to have a referral to use your services, or can they request it from their primary care doctor? How does that typically work?
Yeah, a referral is preferred. Only
Mhm.
like there's lots of reasons it's best practice, but also when we send an eval to these, referrers or these primary cares, and they're not surprised by it.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, we do prefer to have a referral from their
Okay.
primary care of some sort.
All right. Well, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it has been a great conversation. I'm super excited to see your property at some point and connect with you more again, maybe in the future, and tell us a little
Yes.
bit more about how you've grown and how your business is doing and the children that you're affecting here in the valley. So we'll cut it
Yes.
for now. Super excited that you made it, and I'm Pristine. I own Living Water Family Home. Our phone number is 907-373-9817. And we also do have a website. It is livingwaterfamilyhome.com. You can find us online and put in an inquiry for services. And we do take Medicaid waivers as well. And we're working on other insurance since we just got started, but we do take children and adults. And some families are the primary care provider for their children and services, and we will work with those families as well too. So I just want to thank you again, Jillian. I hope we can meet for coffee sometime soon and connect again. It was a great conversation. I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
You're
Thanks.
welcome.
I
All
look forward
right.
to it too.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks.
Okay, cool. Hopefully that all worked out. She'll edit it on the back end if there was anything
Okay.
that gonna kind of got cut out, and then I'll ask her to I don't know if you want a copy of it or you just want to take it from um whatever links we have. You can let me know how you want to do that. You're freezing again on me, so I don't know if it's working, but well,
Oh,
hopefully.
oh,
I think it's really honestly it's my Mac. It's not that I bought it. I bought it before COVID, right around COVID, just about COVID,
okay.
and I think this software just takes a lot of guts. And I think my
Yeah.
computer's kind of like so
Yeah. I have
awesome.
a very old Mac too.
Yeah, and I have two. My older Mac has got more power than my newer one, but I've got everything on my newer one and I don't want to transfer back to my older one. I'm like, maybe I just need
Oh,
to upgrade. But anyway,
I know.
so
I Yeah.
so super cool. So hopefully I'll see you at the
Okay.
next meeting for
Oh
where
yeah.
we met at where did we it was
A Lotta Coffee House at Poppy Lane.
yes, yeah, and it was
Hmm.
oh, I can't remember her name of her group now. It's off the top of my head. I was just talking to it with my
Okay.
with Lika who does my marketing. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think she doesn't have anything until August, but I am going to try to
Hmm.
make sure I make those meetings and just connect and stuff. So awesome.
Yeah, I think I remember she said the next one's outside at like Briarwood Farms or something. And I was
Oh,
like,
that's
can I do
right.
something outside?
Yeah,
I
well,
was like,
don't they
I'm like, can
doesn't
I do?
doesn't she usually have like a vendor that has like a display or something since that's kind of up your alley?
I th- I think so. I was like just like a cute little like icebreaker warm up thing that's like 5 minutes. And I don't remember I
Yeah,
honestly can't tell you what her response was. So I have tons of stuff just ready to go. So if she's like, "Hey Jillian, what's your thing?" I'll be like, "Got you." Um, but no,
awesome.
I just like being outside and like, we don't like I said, we don't need all the stuff. Yeah.
I know. I know.
So,
It's crazy when you think
yeah.
about just minimalizing and
Hmm.
um what that
Yep.
looks like. I mean, from my cleaning business, people are always like, I have so much clutter. I need to get rid of my clutter. It's like clutter is emotionally
I
draining.
can you record that and send that to my husband because I so this is funny. I just got off the phone with someone and we were talking about something. Um and I like the moms, it's always the moms, right, that I talk to, because default caregivers are usually moms, and like in
Hmm.
this economy in this area we have so many parents who the dads are slopers, right, like it's or
Hmm.
they're in the military, and so they say they're like, I don't get a break, I can't get a break, blah blah blah, they're like, I'm doing the best I can but I can't keep up. And I was talking with one of them once about like buying a house with moms only, like no spouses or kids allowed, and it's going to be clean, and like everyone's going to take care of their stuff, and we're not going to have piles. And when I say this, they're just like, "Can I join?" every time, every time. And I was like, "How wonderful would that actually be?"
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I do have a
Whew.
question for you real quick, and then I'll let you go. How
Yes.
long have you been in business?
3 years.
Okay,
It's
so
not
three
been very
years.
long at all.
So you
Hmm.
mentioned that you take all the insurances. So I'm Medicaid.
Yes.
I can do Medicaid. But I'm looking at VA, TRICARE, whichever one that is.
Hmm.
Do you have any suggestions on how best to go about that? Did you hire somebody to get approved for those insurances,
No.
or you did it all yourself?
I did it all myself 3 years ago. And my plan, so my original plan was never to do this and be this big and do. I'm like mobile and nature based. I only wanted
Hmm.
the nature based side. That's a long story, and so I had to scramble because I was going to be cash pay group nature based, and it's
Okay.
not. That's like we are in a sense, but we're also other things. And so like things happen. My previous employer, when they found out what my plan was and that I wasn't going to do it for them, they fired me. And so I
Oh,
was like, oh, got to make a living. Yeah. And I was like, oh, got to make a living. And so all of a sudden I was like, I was already credentialed because I had worked at clinics before, with like Blue Cross and Aetna and TRICARE. I will tell you, TRICARE, so you have to go to their website. Let me get it and see if I can find what it is. It's like new now. It's like triwest.com, or hold on. Yeah, it's TRICARE.
okay. I can
It's
probably find it. Did you just apply or
yes.
something?
Yes, you have to go in
Okay.
and like you have to like say that you want to actually be a provider with them. They have to make sure the network is open. We
Mhm.
They changed everything over in like January. We are still waiting to be like re-credentialed with them. They keep sending us the wrong contract, and I'm like, you guys, this
Oh,
I'm going nuts here. So I'm still getting paid. I can still see people, but like none of my I have 4 employees and none of them can see any TRICARE people. It's annoying.
oh,
It will take you months. I would get started if you want TRICARE, get on it like now. I
okay.
and
Okay.
I would fill out the thing, and then I would call like their provider number and like provider enrollment and say like, hey, this is what I do. Um, like, what process do I need to get credentialed with you?
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm telling
Yeah,
you,
because
it's
this
been
is
7 months of like the wrong contract, and nobody will. Ugh.
wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Uh
Blue
huh.
Cross, Aetna, TRICARE, or TriWest, anybody else you
Yeah.
suggest?
Um. So MODA,
Mm-hmm.
might be another good one. They also are taking forever. United might be their Optum, OPTUM Health. They might be another good one to look into. But they also take forever. Like
Okay.
they're taking like 6 months to get their stuff done. I know I like we had started this year, like January, to get all this stuff done, and it's like we're still waiting, and I'm like, come on. um,
Wow.
yeah, Cigna might be another good one for you to look
Okay.
into. It's American Specialty Health is who does their credentialing for them and does all that.
Okay. Now, do you do all your own
Yeah.
medical billing, or do you bill it, or
Yes.
do you
So
contract it out? Okay.
we don't contract it out. I used to do it, and then
Oh,
real
okay.
quickly I was like, I can't do this. So I trained my husband how to do it, and so he did it. And he would have to go into like their own clearinghouses and do it manually. And now our EMR, our electronic medical record, has like a clearinghouse that does it for us. But he
Oh,
does
okay.
all like he does all the billing stuff.
Okay.
But there are billers in the area who will do it. There's some really good ones. I'm trying to think. I can't think of their names because I've never used any of them. But there are billers who will do that, but they take like 6 to 10% of each claim. Heads up.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got somebody right now currently who is going to help with Medicaid billing. because I've never done it before. This is a whole new thing for me, but
Yeah.
I want somebody professional to do it to get me going, and I'll watch. I'm going to learn by
Yeah.
watching her do it and see what the invoices and stuff look like. So, but I am looking at some of the other provide service, insurances to see if there anything I can work with, to broaden our our access to people. So,
Yeah,
well,
that would be
awesome.
great because I know a lot of kids up here have like Medicaid is their secondary. So I don't know if you know this, but anytime they have like one insurance and Medicaid, like Medicaid is always the last on the list to get
Hmm.
billed, right?
Okay.
So when you have families who are like I literally know kids who could use you guys so badly, but they're like Blue Cross and they don't have the waivers. I've tried to tell them like you guys got to like let's I think your kid qualifies for this stuff. Let's
Hmm.
call Stone Soup and get in it. Um, but because and it's a billing thing, right? Like if and you can bill like out of network. I've never, yeah. So you might be able to bill like out of network for some of those.
Hmm.
Um, and that, but then if like Blue Cross denies it for a certain reason, and then it kicks back to Medicaid, sometimes they won't pay because they're like, hey, your primary wouldn't pay. Why are we paying for this? So
Yeah.
that's what you gotta, yeah, be careful for.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a good idea to, I think, get credentialed with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, all right. Well, I'll be looking into it. Well, it was great meeting you. Thanks for
Yeah, you too.
having the conversation, and
Hmm.
I'm sure I'll run into you at some point. Maybe we can have coffee or something if you're not busy like me.
Yeah, I would love that.
So busy all the time. So
That's that's the thing, right? Yeah, that's I know. I have friends who are like, oh, we need to be for coffee, and I was like, I'm
when?
one day I'm just gonna like show up somewhere and I'm gonna like text everybody and be like, I'm gonna be here at this day. Come between these times and you'll see me, right?
No
Like
kidding,
I'm
right?
visiting my family. Like, hey, you come
Yeah.
to me. I'm going to be here.
Yeah. Put them on the calendar. Like this is my scheduled time to
Yeah.
do it. That's
Yes.
that's probably a good
I've had
idea.
Yeah, and like you have to block out that time, right? To
Hmm.
not only like double dip yourself, but also like for sanity's sake to
Exactly.
make sure you take care of
Sanity. So.
yourself.
All right. Well,
Yes.
we're 142, so
Yeah.
I don't want to keep you. Thank you so much for
Okay.
being my guinea pig,
Yeah, you're welcome.
and
Yeah,
look
of
forward to
course.
seeing what it looks like on the other side. All right. Have a
Yeah,
great
let me
day.
know. Yeah, I love a copy of it. Yeah, you too.
Okay.
Thanks.
All
Bye.
right. Bye bye.
Bye.
Let's see. Hi, my name's Pristine Beers. I'm the owner and founder of Living Water Family Home, and I want to thank you for visiting our website. So, to tell you a little bit about us, I live in Wasilla, and I opened Living Water Family Home in 2025. And what do we do? You want to know? You're at our website. So, here is what we do. We provide services to families in the Matsu Valley who are on waivers through Medicaid to provide services in the community, also in-home services for respite. So if you are a family caregiver or you are a care coordinator looking for another provider who does services that is focused on compassion and community and respect and integrity, please give us a call. We would love to talk to you about what we provide to our clients and work with you in the near future.